Hey everybody, I got so much feedback from last week's episode of Mosier Talks that I decided to talk a little bit more about owning your assets. This is episode 3. Let's kick it. So I recorded last week's episode and I had no idea that so many people were in a situation where they're getting screwed out of their domain names. And I don't know what else to say, so I just say it straight. They're getting screwed out of them. But we actually came across a situation this week where a customer came to us and they were paying a company a lot of money to do some ongoing services, and the company had no accountability. They couldn't tell what they were doing, and they didn't provide reports or anything like that. So I want to continue this thing about owning your assets, and let's talk about some of your marketing assets. And I'm going to start with Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a free tool from Google that you should put on your site. It allows you to view a lot of basic information: how many people come to your website, how long they stay, how many people come to your website and bounce off. It allows you to look and see where they come from, what campaigns they may have used, like if you're advertising or whatever, what campaigns brought them there. If they converted, you can do basic conversion tracking in analytics. There's a lot you can do with it, but it's very important that you have that only for accountability, if nothing else, especially if you're paying somebody to do any kind of marketing services for you. Because you want to be able to see, for instance, when you send out an email newsletter, you want to look at the date that newsletter went out and see if it generated traffic to your website. Or if you're paying for Google AdWords, and you get 35 clicks in a day, you want to see what happened with those clicks. Did they buy? Did they convert into a customer? You can track that through both Analytics and AdWords if it's done correctly. But the important thing is that you have that knowledge and that it's within an account that is your control. Once again, I've seen a situation where other web companies have set up the account for the customer, and they'll give the customer maybe read-only access at best. I can tell you that in a lot of situations, and there's nothing wrong with asking for this. I mean, a company asking us for this, it wouldn't offend us at all, but there's nothing wrong with asking for complete managerial access. In other words, the ability to edit, collaborate, and manage users inside your own analytics account. The reason why this is important is because if you decide to bring on somebody else, like for instance, you have one company doing AdWords for you and another company doing search engine optimization for you, and then you have another company sending out your newsletters. You may want to provide all three of those companies access to your analytics so they can keep tabs on what their own work is doing, as well as you obviously need to keep track of them as well. So it's very important that you own your analytics data. The same thing holds true for Google's Search Console. It's formerly known as Webmaster Tools, but it's a place where you actually go in and you claim your domain or you claim your website through Google's Webmaster interface, and you prove that you own that domain, own the rights to it, and and are managing it. This is where you go and submit, like for instance, your XML sitemap to Google so that they know what pages of your site to crawl. It's also where you can look up real search data on keywords to see how people are finding you, how many times maybe that your site came up for a particular keyword, what position you were in when it was shown, and how many people actually clicked on it. And this can give you a lot of important insight for making marketing decisions or SEO decisions. And by SEO, if you don't know what that means search engine optimization, and that's what we mean when we say we want to put content on your site to where people where your site comes up naturally for different searches that people do. So anyway, I'm going to end with that today. I just wanted to talk about a couple of more assets that you may or may not have considered that's very important when you get a website done, or when you're looking at your website and trying to determine whether or not it's doing its job. Google Analytics and your Google Webmaster Tools are two very important ones that often get overlooked. Anyway, if you have any questions for me, why don't you go ahead and comment on this video, and I'll be sure to get them in another episode. Until then, we'll see you later. But anyway, I just wanted to share. I'm going to end with that because there's not a lot that I have to do, or blah, 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 blah. Screw it.